Hello, everyone, and welcome to this is now the fifth episode of Titan Talk. This is an opportunity for the community to get to know, some of our fellow players that are in our alliances, some of our leaders, some of our captains. Some of these people are streamers, some are content creators. Most of these people are just everyday players like you and I that love the game and want to talk about it. So I'm going to be your moderator. My name is Visara, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, with the first question we're going to go to Dr. D. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your TCP and all that stuff.
Sure. So my main account in-game name is Dr. D, TCP of about 74 million and leader of the Murder of Crows Alliance. And as part of the Titans of Asgard Alliance, I have a baby account under Commander D, and that TCP is about 38 million.
Okay. And then let's go to you up in the top corner. What's your name?
I guess you're talking about me. I am Sable Widow. I am 57 million TCP, played just over 2,100 days, and I am part of Titans of Earth. I'm one of the OGs of that alliance.
Yes, sir. All right. And last but not least, who we got?
RT, currently captain in Muspelheim. I've level 98, approaching 30 million TCP.
Nice. And so what teams are you guys currently building on? Let's go back to Dr. D with this one.
Sure. So for my main account, I'm actually trying to build up a spider society. So that would be Ghost Spider and Noir, and also working on Cabal for War and CC. For my baby account, I am actually going through DD6. So I'm trying to get Scroll right now. And I decided to finish APOC, so I'm actually getting Big Boy APOC at the same time. So
Nice.
yes.
All right. And how about you, Sable? Wife?
Right now, because my Weapon X is as big as it can get, I am building out of time. Because you know me, I like the war deep. So that's my first priority right now, is out of time.
Nice. And what have we gotten over there in Muspelheim, T?
Well, I am actually prepping for DD6. I've kind of just got the team that I want set up, so now it's just building them up. So I'm not really building one team, I'm building 4 or 5 teams. But likewise, I'll be doing the spiders once they come to the game so that I can finally ditch the invaders, who I heard as a team.
Yeah, that skill section, man. Oof. All right. So let us know one thing about you that you might find interesting, or that maybe we find interesting about you. And let's start this one off with T.
Well, I was going to say, when I'm not doing Marvel, I'm a very big Fallout aficionado. So if it's got a Fallout label on it, I will probably spend an insane amount of money on it. For example, with the new TV show coming out, I just paid $25 for 4 Jones sodas that have a label from the game.
Ooh,
on it.
That's pretty cool, though. Yeah. Fallout's fun. Wife plays that too. And speaking of which, why don't we go to you? What's something interesting you might find about you, wife?
Really, no. I'm a Tetris master. Back in the OG games Xbox, I was on like one of the top 10 players in the Tetris World game. But I don't know. I'm not a very interesting person. I have no idea.
Well, you're a very interesting person. It's just that you have so many things, it's hard to figure out one to share, I think is what it is. All right, how about you, Dr. D?
Probably I was thinking 2 things. One is I actually work at NASA. That is my day job outside of MSF, being MSF Alliance leaders. So, yes. And on the other side, my fun side is I am a huge sports fan. So baseball, American football, supporting the Baltimore teams. I just went to the Baltimore Orioles opening day together this week. So
Yeah, I keep on getting messages from you saying, "Hey, I'm gonna probably be at this game or that game, so I might not be around." Yep. Yeah.
yes,
Really.
yes.
So I have a question for you, real quick. So with NASA, recently Mark Roper went to NASA. Did you get to meet him?
I did not. I did not.
He's an interesting dude. I like him.
So
We watch a lot of his videos.
oh yeah. No. But yeah, no, I just, you also get messages from me that I'm traveling a lot. So I do travel a lot for my job. I was just in Brazil, so that's one of the perks of working. So
Always on a plane. Yeah, I don't know about the plane thing, but I guess if you're working for NASA, you know the ins and outs, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right, so T, what brought you to Marvel Strike Force?
So what brought me to Marvel Strike Force probably had to do with just the whole pandemic shutting everything down. I was one of those people who'd go out 5-6 times a week and just do whatever. And then all of a sudden you're told, sit in your home. And then it's like, oh, now I have to find, 5 days worth of stuff to do to keep my mind busy and not freak out about anything. So kind of what brought me to it was just, trying to get a life outside of the life I had just lost during the pandemic.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're glad that we found you. Dr. D, what brought you to Marvel Strike Force? First off, for your main account and then for your baby account.
sure. So for my main account, my husband actually started playing MSF maybe a month after the game started. And shortly thereafter, he was spending a lot of time on the game. And so somehow he hoodwinked me into joining up, and we were in the same alliance. And basically, we've been in the same alliance since then. So longtime player together. And for the baby account, for those that are familiar with the key system, the raid key system, my baby account actually started as a key farmer for one of my alliances. And I just couldn't stop playing it, the account, just because it was my fun account. So that's my account that I like to test things out on, and not necessarily go with the flow. So,
Right. It's fun though, yeah? Yeah. I like it. All right, and in Sable, what brought you to MSF?
Well, it was actually our son. He started to play. He got you into the game. And then when your tablet went down and was no longer supported by the game, I put it on my phone. And so I would get on my phone when you were at work and blitz for you and do stuff. And I'm like, I'm just going to get him a new tablet. We got you a tablet, put the game on there. And they're like, well, now I miss playing. So then I started my own account, and it became a competition of how quickly can I build to beat you and the kid. It just became fun. And now I'm kind of addicted.
Yeah, I would say so. We all are. So with that in mind, let's go back to you there, Sable. What keeps you in Marvel Strike Force?
Just the community that we've built. We've got this amazing family that even on the days where I hate the game, I can go talk in Discord to somebody who's having a good experience and loves to play something. And then, or they're having a bad day and I can help them out with, hey, why don't you try this? It's just, I love the community we've created here.
And how about you, T? What keeps you in Marvel Strike Force?
She said it best. I mean, it's the family, right? I mean, I don't even remember where I started, but I'm pretty sure I've been in Asgard, Earth, and Muspelheim, and probably one or two other of the alliances, right? It's just kind of the family that gets fostered when you come here that's kind of kept me in the game. And I know, at times I was more competitive, and even me not being competitive, it's, good to know that I can still help the family out in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I'll tell you what, D3 keeps on asking when you're going to come back up to Earth. So I'm like, oh, he's kind of just chilling and doing his thing in Muspelheim, helping me out there. So yeah, we're still thinking about you. How about you, Dr. D?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that it's definitely the community. You grow friendships basically, through your alliances and the Discord, families, and and it certainly doesn't. It certainly helps, still having my husband play the game as well. So we play it together. We do our wars together, and so it's a way for us to also kind of bond over something. So
Right. Oh yeah, that's important. We have our hot tub talk where we talk about the game. It's kind of funny, like sit out there and talk about MSF more than anything else. It's crazy. All right. So, what is your favorite team or character to play with, and why? And let's hit up Sable first with this one. I think I know, but we're gonna find out.
Oh, my favorite tune is Sabretooth. I caught so much flack for upgrading Sabretooth to take him to DD3. And it's like, I just got him built, just started the nodes, and then Weapon X was announced. So, of course, that team went to the moon, and they're my absolute favorite team to play with.
Yep. I see it every war. Oh, I can do that.
Yep. My Sabretooth, he's the first one to go to, he will be my first G19. It's probably going to be a waste, but he's just my pet project.
Right. And sometimes that's more important. T, how about you?
To me, I gotta say it's Undying. Just kind of, that 3-piece. I love them. They just punch up so high in so many game modes if you have the right opponent to go against. And I mean, one of my probably more fond memories of this game is the DD2 where with Minerva and Hela, and you have the double Greg. So I kind of had love Greg, love that team. So
Yeah.
definitely my team of choice.
Double Greg. Yep. And DDs. I remember that. Dr. D, how about you?
So my favorite game mode is War. And so I have basically on my main account, I have built Underworld to the moon. And I have always been a huge fan of the punch-ups that you can do with Underworld. And so I have also not exactly done the same on my baby account. I would say for my baby account, it's the huge punch-ups with Undying, the 3-piece Undying that I'm able to do in War. So, yeah.
Undying is insane. I agree. But Underworld, yes, I got one. All right, and we're going to stay there with the punch-ups. Dr. D, what is the biggest punch-up you have done, or what's the most memorable battle maybe that you have?
I would say right now, it's kind of tied in terms of, for my big account, we see a lot of, lately we've been seeing a lot of 3 million defenses, especially for raid teams. So if you see a 3 million Pegasus, say on defense or something like that, I like to, my second favorite war team is actually P-Force. So Photon with A-Force. And so I enjoy doing, 1.5 million punch-ups or something to that effect versus a Pegasus. Or right now, even Eternals Cabal can punch up much versus a Pegasus.
Yep.
So those are my two favorite teams, I think, right now for my big account. And for my baby one, it goes back to that Undying, being able to do probably almost a 2 million punch-up versus Rebirth, when Rebirth had the buffs and you were still able to take them out with like an Undying 5 million type hybrid. So
Just ridiculous punch-up. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. All right, and then T, how about you?
Yeah, mine's probably got to be the Undying with I use Loki and I use Sylvie just because they're both Asgardians and they both get turn meter because due to Loki stuff, just 2.3, 2.5 million power punch-ups on Rebirth when they were the team.
Yeah.
They were right against this defense, and it's just like, nope, this 3-piece is just going to take him down. I guess as an old school, I loved running symbiotes against Asgards because you could just absolutely smash Gregs and get speed barred. So much speed bar that they never got a turn. Right. So you could hit like million-point punch-ups plus.
Yeah. All right. Wife, how about you? So defense is your thing. So when you do a big punch up or have a good battle, I know it kind of sticks in your mind. So what's your best one?
Probably the most exciting one lately was you convinced me to start building Underworld And I'm like, okay, I'll give this a whirl. And I took it into a hive mind, and I did just over 1 million punch up into a hive mind. And it was just like, wow, okay. Now that was a waste to build my hive mind. This team can destroy them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still remember that feeling when Rogue and that team came out and nobody could beat it. And I'm like, I'm just going to try my Weapon X. And learning that my Weapon X could just destroy them was just so much fun after all the torture of trying to figure out how to beat them.
Yeah, then Omega Red tentacles flopping all over the place, whooping on that team. Yeah. I think you were the first one to do that in ours. And like, hey, this worked. Look at this. And we're all trying to do it. We couldn't duplicate it for a while. And then we got it. So thank you for that, because that did help. All right. So who was your most memorable unlock? And why would that be? And T, why don't we start with you?
Well, I wish it was for a good reason, but I remember when I started the game, it took me probably over a year to get Ella, and they even dropped the amount of shards necessary to get her, and I still just could not pull her in any orb. You know, it was basically just, oh, if you're going to wail on her, then you can have her. And I'm like, no, I'm going to wait. And then, but once I got there, the floodgates opened up and it was fine, but it took forever. And I'm just staring at my buddy who gets her almost immediately on a lucky mega orb pull, and I'm just like, I hate you so much.
I hate you so much. Yeah, right. All right, how about you, Dr. D?
I think it's just by the length of time that it took. It's probably tied pretty closely between APOC and Super Scroll. Just because APOC was kind of a year long, leading up to it, and I would say that's for both accounts, since I've been kind of slow with the baby account in terms of bringing up to a big boy APOC. The other thing would be, when legendaries were a little bit harder in terms of unlocking, you had to have, certain tunes that we probably didn't really like at 7-star in order to get 7-star, like Jubilee leading into others. And so that would probably, for my baby account, that was definitely something of a painful but memorable unlock. So.
That grind that the newer players don't have to do anymore. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. All right. How about you, Sable?
Probably back when Minerva was her event campaign.
Yeah.
And I remember coring the crap out of that because I wanted to take her into DD1. I wound up like 20 or 30 shards short of that 6-star through her event. And so I just skipped DD1 and went into DD2 with her. And so she's one of my favorites that I still remember, like the grind to unlock her.
Another experience that the newer players won't get to have is DD1 being 6 stars. Interesting. Okay. All right. So this one's more of a game-focused thing, and just out of curiosity, just so Scopely can hear it themselves if they decide to watch this video. And so do you prefer chatting in game, Discord, or do you have another method that you guys use? And first, Dr. D, because you do have another alliance outside of ours, so just curious.
Yep. Definitely Discord. I am not a fan of in-game chat, like, at all. I find it's, on my phone, mostly I work on my, I do MSF on my phone, and the in-game chat is just super buggy to me. And when I'm trying to call out, people to do things, it's painful. So I am definitely a Discord user.
Discord. Yep. All right. T, how about you?
Chalk another one up for Discord, because I mean, if anytime I'm needed, it's like, oh, one problem we're having is people just attacking without marked targets, and it's like all you have to do is ask us for targets, and then nobody asks, and then finally somebody finds it on Discord and come back, and there's 3 messages in the chat that are like, we need targets, please, and it's like, that's assuming that anybody who can mark them is actually online at any given point.
Right.
Whereas if you just log into Discord, hit officer, we're there, we'll get to you, right?
Yeah, pretty simple. I think it's pretty simple. Yeah. All right, how about you, Sable?
Yep, definitely Discord. As much of a pain as it is to exit the game, go to Discord, check stuff, and then come back in game and do it. It's just that game chat. even if you type, hey, we need targets, now there's no time code. So you don't know if it was an hour ago that we needed targets and we've set targets. So then you got to waste the time loading into War to check. And then all the achievements that people are getting, the 7 reds, like, put that somewhere else. Like, that just messes up everything, and it's cluttered. They definitely need to redo the in-game chat.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And then speaking of chatting, so when you were on Discord or in-game or where you decide to do, who's your go-to person to chat with, or who's your favorite person to chat with, or just somebody that cheers you up while you're in there? And Dr. D, in here or in the other servers or wherever you may be?
Yeah, so I think, for Titans, I think Viz, you're probably the one that I usually talk with most, only because I'm usually, you and I are usually commiserating on some of the leadership woes
Yeah.
for alliances. And otherwise, yeah, in my in the main alliance that I run, I would say all of our captains are great, and usually we're definitely chattering, throughout the day. But yeah.
And in Crows, you guys are what raid? You're like top 100 in raid, top 200.
Yep, top 100 for raid, and we are normally top 100 for war. The last couple we were plat 4, plat 3, plat 4, so we've been kind of swinging back and forth.
Yeah.
So we're on the downturn. We're in plat 3, and so we're like 102 right now. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, T?
Well, I mean, we're going through a transition in Muspelheim. I mean, we're having people go, people, move up, people move out. You've got that whole thing. So I guess really, by and large, it's just meeting new people and figuring out who I like talking with. I mean, I like talking with everybody, obviously, but
yeah. And you're one of my go-tos as well. We have newer people come in and be like roster review, be like, at T, help this person out. You and Vandy, LA, a couple other people, Moise, and D, I'm asking you too. Hey, go look out the roster and help them out. And I do appreciate when you guys do give them feedback, because it really helps the newer players. So, Sable, who's your go-to?
I don't know. Lately, it's been Vanderpants. He's been fun. Skilly, Samgis. It's just fun messing around with a bunch of people, telling them my D's bigger than theirs, and, having a bunch of people that we can just talk about the game with, and nobody's going to judge. It's nice. Chat with everybody.
And photoshopping Black Knight into Blitz store so that everybody thinks that he's been released there. Yeah, that's a lot of fun too. Yeah, that's a fun time when we do that. All right. So what is your biggest pet peeve in MSF? And let's go with T first on this one.
I'm glad you chose me. I was going to say, maybe I will do my second one. I don't want my voice to come off wrong on the first biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
So I guess just Blitz as a game mode, it kind of just annoys me. It's low quality time. They're not really thankfully they're not shaping events around it, right? So it's not like really geared them anything like you did when I started. You literally unlocked characters with Blitz. You got 1, maybe 2 blitzes to unlock them. So
right.
It was more of a thing. And when I had all kinds of dead time, blitzing was fine. But now, everybody has a life, and it's just like, can we replace this playlist?
Gotcha. All right. And then how about you, Dr. D?
I would say for me, it really comes down to some of the QA things, when things go into the game and it makes the game buggy and doesn't work. And, if something, my joke is that, I call their spaghetti code, and sometimes I think I probably could write some of the code in the game better than they do. So it's really, it's QA things that when things are put into the game and they don't work. Yeah, that would be my biggest pet peeve.
It's annoying.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Sable, how about you?
I have so many. What to choose?
I know. We talked about them.
I guess my biggest one right now is the fact that as a cheap to play player, I can't grind my way to get to these milestones anymore because they put a cap on what I can do. But the spenders could go out and spend whatever the hell they want to, but then they're going to limit me. So it's like I can't even, some of them, as a tryhard that I am, the last month, I didn't finish that monthly event because I missed the monthly event piece. And I'm a tryhard because they limited something. And then the others, it was a crucible, and I'm facing 3 million powered teams, so I couldn't win with any team that they made me do. So it just feels like a slap in the face sometimes that they're limiting me, but not others.
Yep. That's huge and perfectly said. All right. Moving on to more positive things. If you were to bring a character into the game, who would it be and why? And T, let's go with you first on this one.
So for me, it'd be MODOK. I know Biz has a very, very big Hydra team, and I'm working on an AIM team to try to rival it. They were kind of one of my favorite teams through Dylan's when I started, just because I was able to get pretty much all of them stood up. When Red Stars weren't, just here 7 here 7 here, everybody gets a set. And 2 of my first big polls were AIM characters, so I kind of was one of those teams that I focused down on and going to drag them up more and see if I can't maybe slide them into the first war defense spot and see what kind of carnage it can cause.
There you go. It's fun to build what you want to build, yeah? All right. Wife, Sable, how about you? What would you like to see come to the game?
I only know things because I'm married to a comic book nerd, but I'm named after Silver Sable, so probably her, because it would be nice to have a badass. Put her on a skill team with Zemo. Give Zemo his day in the sun. Like, don't bring some baby chucker to the game. Bring a skill team that people actually want.
Baby chucker. Yeah, I agree. All right, Dr. D, how about you?
So I am a big fan of the What If series on Disney. And so I actually look forward to the new character that they put on the Undying team every year. So my request is Zombie Scarlet Witch. So we actually have a Scarlet Witch in the game that's good, and that would, yes. So that would definitely be my choice, is Zombie Scarlet Witch.
I like that they brought her back in this last What If too, and like, oh, there she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We got a little bit of positivity, so let's go back. That's the way it kind of flows. What do you think about current events, and how would you change them? And say, well, you kind of pointed on this a little bit, so let's go back to you with this. So how would you change them, and what do you actually think about them?
Just stop making them so top heavy. The spenders who are going to get there don't need that crap anyway. It's defeating to the newer players. Like this anniversary event they had. You had to be a certain level to even open the orbs. And the orbs were for newer players. They didn't benefit me. They just gave me Ultimus food. Don't limit what I want to do with grinding. If I want to spend 24 hours a day blitzing, then let me blitz.
Sorry, T.
And I hate the game mode. Now it's kind of worthless because we don't get tunes through it. But at least when there was blitz tunes, you knew if I did, I'm going to get Y amount of shards. And you knew where you were going to end. But these new events, I'm sitting out after opening all the Iron Patriot. I'm not going to get to that next milestone. So I'm at 70 out of 80 shards. And I cored him to unlock him. I maxed out on the event unless I spend.
Yeah.
So
you can't even get a
there needs to be a better balance.
Yeah. Can't even get a 4-star tune in an event right now. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, T, how about you?
Took the words right out of my mouth. They were actually doing better for a minute. I mean, it was like they at a decent balance. You would usually get somewhere between high 3, low 4 stars on new characters. But like you said, this Act Patriot event, I'm 12 shards short, and I don't know that I'm going to get him. I don't care. It's not going to kill me if I don't get him, but they are a pretty good team, right? And then they're going to make leader the monthly event, so then I'm going to have half of the ball, and it's really going to help me. So I don't know, they definitely need to go back to remedial math, apparently, and figure out how to make it so that just having the level of effort that people who try hard on the game can at least unlock characters.
Yeah, I mean, all right, Dr. D, how about you?
So this goes to one of my additional pet peeves is I do not like having Cosmic Crucible as a part of Alliance events. It's a solo game mode, and I have no problem with it being part of solo, milestone events. But it's tough, in an alliance to make sure that everyone is doing their CC for all 3 rounds or whatever. They at least heard some sort of the complaints, because now it's play battles. You don't necessarily have to win those battles. There are ways around some of those things. But as an alliance leader, it's that is definitely something that I don't necessarily find fun to keep track of, is making sure people are doing their CC. So I have no problem with them being part of solo stones, but so I would say the first change is not to include CC in alliance events. But otherwise, and another change I would say is, I think leaderboards, they're an issue in some of these milestone events. And I think the drop off between one level to another is pretty extreme sometimes. And and sometimes it becomes a little disheartening that, if you are close to some of those milestones and those drop offs are very extreme. So I think there could be a little bit better in terms of the balance between one tier to another.
Oh yeah, sometimes going from is usually 13 to 14, everything that you earn going to 13, now you got to double that amount to get to the next milestone. It's like, oh, what? Why? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I do agree. I absolutely agree. All right, so on that note, if you were to change one thing about MSF, hopefully for the better, or just take it out and it would make the game better, what would it be? And let's start this one off with you, Dr. D.
I actually am just not a fan of leaderboards at all. So I would say it makes it, I think it takes away a bit from the fun and it kind of creates this separation between people that are, spending in the game and not spending in the game. And so, yeah, I mean, my first change would be not to have leaderboards, basically. Whatever you earn is what you earn in milestones, and there shouldn't be such extreme drop-offs in terms of, even get rid of whale stones.
Yeah.
At the very end of the milestones, they're basically just turn those things into offers. That's all it is.
Yep.
So you can't necessarily grind. You can't, as Sable said, you can't really grind for those milestones. So to me, they shouldn't even be a part of milestones.
Yep. So. Agreed. All right. T, how about you? If you were to change one thing in MSF to make it better, what would it be?
Pretty much what D said. I mean, honestly, some of the milestones, you just look at them and at the beginning of the month, you're like, yep, I'm not getting to milestone 19. I'm not getting to milestone 20. You just know, right? Unless you're going to spend all kinds of money, you're not going to get there, right?
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to see maybe some sort of way to rank people into like tiers, kind of like when Blitz started and you just unlocked Blitz, you had like that first 60 days where they kind of pulled you out from like everybody who had gazillion TCP teams, and they had kind of like a separate ranking system. Maybe something like that to be more fair, or maybe even, does this person spend? Does this person not spend? Because then at least if you're a spender, okay, if you want to fight and compete with somebody, then open your wallet. If you don't want to spend, then sit with the other people who don't want to spend and compete against them. Don't compete against somebody who basically has the MS black card and just scans it like, yep, okay, I want this.
Yep. Agreed. All right. And take it away, Sable. Go for it. What would you do?
Hire me to find all your bugs, because I'm known as kind of like the bug catcher. If there's a game and it's got a bug, I find it. Walking through a game on Far Cry or anything, and I'll fall through the map. Well, there's your bug. Like, just fix some of these bugs, which would lower the compensation, which maybe then they would make these events a little bit more friendly for the players because they're not trying to make up for all the stuff they had to give out free by having the spender spend. And then, kind of to piggyback, get rid of leaderboards or make them blind, because I don't want to see how much somebody's wasting on a video game to then decimate me in every game mode that I'm expected to compete in. And if it's a whale or a kraken that doesn't like Crucible and just wants to set 3 million powered teams, nobody's going to beat that. I'm waiting for the day I go against Sedano in Crucible, because he's got to be dropping at this point. Like, where's that account at?
Yeah,
I want to see what his defense is still set at. That would be another great change. Would be if you've been inactive and you've deleted your account, pull the Crucible defenses, pull the War defenses, so that way we're not competing against that.
pull the arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Agreed. Well, thank you guys all very much. I appreciate it. And it was nice getting to know you and letting us all get to know you. So like I said, this will be something that hopefully we come back to and revisit. This is more of a group conversation, since we've all got to know you now and who you are and where you stand in the game. And we'll try to do something that's a little bit more like, where we're all have points and we'll all get together and try to solve some of these problems that are in this game, because at the end of the day, it's going to take all of us in order to make this happen, because believe me, they're not doing it on their own. So with that, thank you, those of you in chat land. And if you're on YouTube watching this, please like and subscribe. Peace out.